Hi everyone, JayCaulls, good to see you again and welcome to another episode of Andretti. After just getting through the first season with our jobs in just by the skin of our teeth, we're nearly ready for the second season. We've just got some little bits and pieces to do to the car. We've got some contracts we need to extend with Herta and the rest of the backroom staff. But, well, I have a good feeling about this season. Had Porsche get relegated down from F1, so we're expecting them to be pretty much the team to beat. And yeah, if you haven't already watched the first season, a nice short episode, few races per episode. Check out the playlist now. First things first, we have to have ourselves a primed machine ready to not be the worst car on the grid next season, like the disadvantage we had halfway through season 1. So fingers crossed we can get something going there. Mr. Andretti's managed to give us a few extra funds to power this up and to get us a good base chassis and everything else. So this is actually the first time I've had to do this on Motorsport Manager, so I sort of went by more strong things, double checked a few of the star ratings, and by the end of it, after choosing all the material, the brake, fuel, all the different suppliers, I'm pretty happy with what we've got, to be honest. I feel we're giving ourselves a really good head start into the second season, and providing we can keep Colton and Jenson Button happy, we should be able to get plenty of points finishes, meaning that A, we get to keep our job, second, we have a base for season 3. Season 3, hopefully we can start pushing towards the top of the pile. An absolute steal at 35 mil. So before we've even got any testing done, gone to the track, we are presented with our possibly one of our biggest decisions of the season, and that is we're trying to re-sign Colton Herta, but the wages for every single driver has just suddenly shot up. I don't know if this is usual for the mod, but I don't really want to pay 700-800 grand per race for Colton Herta. We're going to try to come to an agreement here. If this doesn't work, then I don't know what we're going to do. Oh, well, okay, we're starting this season with an uphill battle. I see how it is. But I suppose, when do I ever start it easy? Right, let's go into the driver market. So after quite a bit of negotiating, we are breaking down boundaries. We are going into a completely different direction from when Andretti started, replacing both our American drivers eventually with 2 British drivers, and we're getting none other than Jamie Chadwick. Jamie Chadwick in the news today for just absolutely dominating the WSeries at the moment, and I think off the top of my head she signed for Williams's driver program as well, so good for her, and hopefully we can make something work with her here in Formula 2 alongside Jenson Button. Welcome to Andretti Autosport. Plus, with Colton Herta gone, we can change the livery up. We get a chance to change it for the start of next season. And here it is. We have decided to go towards the Andretti Autosport logo colours. So let me know in the comments underneath what you think. Do you like this one, or do you prefer the black, yellow and blue we had before? Many things can happen in pre-season testing, like real life Formula 1, the memes start flying, the pre-season bets on who's going to be finishing top, who's going to be bottom, the accusations of stealing body parts, and not, I mean for the cars, not actual body parts, that would be a little bit weird. Accusations over side pods, underfloors, that sort of thing, but for here, we just see if there's any issues with the car, what the driver's morale is like, and it's a good chance for us to kind of see, without any upgrades, how close we are to our competitors. And as the testing went on, Button had a little bit of a understeer problem, but apart from that, we're around sort of like mid-pack, which I'm pretty happy with for now. Whilst we're here too, Mr. Andretti has asked us whereabouts we think we're going to be finishing this season, with an option there to make things slightly easier for us like season 2. I'm definitely going to take it. It will mean a little less money per race, but to be honest, with the sponsors that we could be potentially getting through this season and the marketability of both drivers, as long as we keep finishing in the points, I think we'll be absolutely fine. After testing, we found that suspension was surprisingly the weakest part of the car, so we have got to work straight away to make sure our weaknesses are not the weakest on the whole grid. So hopefully either by the time this race starts or the following race, we'll have 2 sets of suspension ready for both drivers and get our foot into the points. In terms of reliability, we're working straight on the engines and the gearbox to try and get those pushed as close to 100% as possible, and then just strengthening existing parts depending on where the strengths lie in the following track. All our previously built parts from last season are no longer with us, so everyone starts on a fresh slate. Now that we have a little bit more experience and kind of know what we're doing, we can put it to practice and get a stronger machine quicker. Obviously, earlier this video we saw that Herta decided to not join us. He has gone to a rival Formula 2 team, HWA Race Lab, but for an absolutely staggering nearly 15 million a year. There was absolutely no way on earth we were ever going to pay him that much, and with there being less races in Formula 2 as well, that's over $1 million per race. There's no chance, even if it's Colton Herta, there was no chance we were going to offer that unless we were in Formula 1. But I think that's enough talking for pre-season. Let's get straight to our first race of the season. We have no parts that we need to fit. Everybody's going to be starting on a clean slate. Let's go hopefully grab a decent bag of points just so we can get things going second season swimmingly. With new race engineers, it does mean new traits. Unfortunately, we don't have a super overtake available to us at the moment, but we do have sweet spots, which we're going to try out. Sweet spots is basically when they are warming up for qualifying session, the green will be slightly bigger, which means that we're more likely to get perfect and good temperatures for both brakes and tyres. I tried this myself manually just to see if it made it easier for myself. I was absolutely rubbish. Chadwick had a disastrous first lap, so I think we'll keep it to auto, but hopefully with auto we can still get lucky every now and then and get both the brake and tyre temperatures up to scratch. At the end of the first qualifying session of the season, Jenson Button getting a very respectable 5th place, and Chadwick, although Chadwick was kind of down themselves about the pace they were at, 18th. I'd be pretty happy with that for the first ever qualifying session. With this being the longest track, I think it is anyway, the longest track on the season schedule, we didn't get as many practice laps in to get the most out of our traits when it comes to race and qualifying trim, so we could be starting a little bit weaker on those. However, we are going to be putting both drivers onto the softer compounds to see how quick we can get up the grid. Fingers crossed we can get some decent starts for both, hold the positions, potentially grab some points. So fantastic first start just there from Jenson, but after a few corners very easily getting swamped by a few of the competitors. Chadwick sort of going up the grid, then down the grid, 2 wide, 3 wide, all over the place. Just as long as neither of them gets into trouble with any collisions, then we should be good. Hopefully, he says. We're also going to be keeping a watch of Colton Herta as well, who is hanging out towards the back. Him and Chadwick going to be doing plenty of battling in this race, I feel, unless either one of them ends up going off the track. It only took a couple of laps, but Colton Herta looking to prove to us he is worth his money, actually ended up causing a collision and having to take a quick penalty himself. But of course that's going to bite us in the ass, because lap 10, David Beckman decided to just casually crash into a wall, bringing out the safety car, first safety car of the season, lap 10. Now, we had a bit of a difficult situation just here, and we decided in the end, as there was 22 laps remaining, we were going to gamble with 3 laps behind the safety car to give Jensen an extra long, extra soft. Oh wait, that sounds wrong as well. We're going to put him onto a softer compound and try and let the towers last. For Chadwick, we're going to play it safe and go with the regular softs. Double stack in the pits is absolutely fine here, because there is enough of a distance between them. So we see Chadwick managing to get in absolutely fine after Jensen's, and we have Button out in 9th and Chadwick out in 18th. We put ourselves onto a lower strategy just so we can save some fuel, save some tyre condition. On the last lap that the safety car is out, we're going to warm the tyres out. It seems the competitors don't warm their tyres out when the safety car is going in, so maybe we can use that to advantage. Maybe we can gain a couple of places. From this point onwards, the race was actually pretty uneventful. Button with a slightly slow start there, and a lot of cars just packed in around. Same with Chadwick as well. He couldn't really capitalize on the tactics we try and set, but we managed to save Button's tyres, and coming to the final laps, he was still in the points, still with a decent amount of time between him and Colton Herta, actually in 11th place. So Herta having an absolutely fantastic time behind that safety car, being so far back, could afford to change his tyres and battled through the field. But with the end of the race coming, a few more people pit, a few mistakes were made on the tactics, and Button, first race of the season, going in for more than a small bag full of points. Chadwick still with a 18th place finish. I think she finished in 18th at the end there. This all depends on if anybody else makes a pit stops, but overall a pretty good first race, especially for Button as well. The safety car did kind of ruin our tactics a little bit, but unlike last season where it ruined so many chances of higher points for us, here we adapt and we get some points in the bag already. A good 4 points though would do wonders for Jensen Button's confidence, as well as give Andretti Autosport a good starting point, I think. Even though there's a few time penalties there for Chadwick, still a pretty decent 18th place. If that was Kirkwood this time last season, I'm pretty sure he finished like 2nd, 3rd from last anyway. So with the 3 stars that Chadwick has, she's done an amazing job to give herself hopefully the start of a good career for Andretti. One of the most important things here though at the end of the race is the sustainability of the team, and it's a good job we changed our expected results to 9th, because Michael's going to be so much happier with that. Marketability will go up with better results, but look at that, an income in the green, no matter, as long as it's green after every race, I'm going to be pretty happy with that. Speaking of green though, that's exactly what Jensen's other house going to be feeling when she finds out that Jensen Button, in game anyway, absolutely fancies the pants off Chadwick. I mean, she's what, 19 years his junior. I'm pretty sure last season he was asking for marriage advice as well, but you know what, as long as it keeps his morale up, we'll step back from this one. We'll step well back. All the transfers seem to be done for each of the Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3, as well as the GT Series and Endurance Series teams as well. Allow me 2 minutes just to quickly flick through the whole single-seater series of F1, F2, F3, and you will find some pretty interesting driver changes. The first 2 drivers that you see are going to be drivers 1 and 2, with the third being the reserve driver. I'll shut up for a couple of minutes while you just have a quick look through and, yeah, prepare to be amazed in some cases. With that all done, we can fit this new suspension to, let's give it to Jensen, the quicker driver. The other one should be ready and fully maxed out in terms of reliability by the next race. I'm sure Chadwick will be fine until then. But Cape Town, a much shorter track than the first race of the season. Let's see how we get on. We are going to switch about the qualifying tactics very slightly. We're going to take off sweeter spots and go with a standard ultra soft tyre and qualifying trim as well. See if that does any better for Chadwick. Fingers crossed we can get another decent qualifying time for Jensen Button as well. Which, once again, it took the very last lap in the very last minute when the qualifying sessions ended. After an absolutely horrendous first run, Button qualifies up in 6th, a massive jump from 21st. I'm not going to lie, when it showed him as 21st, as I was bringing him out, I was thinking, oh god, what have I done? Where's the glaring mistake I've made? But Chadwick getting up to 17th as well, meaning both improve on last race's qualifying positions. I think, off the top of my head, I could be wrong, but still, pretty solid. We're going to be playing the waiting game with these tactics, putting both drivers onto the super softs. With Jensen, we might switch over to the ultras, but if not, then we have set the bonus over to the super softs for both drivers anyway. There's 53 laps. There's a lot of laps, so the longer we can stay out on these tyres, the better. We're gonna probably hope for a little bit of safety car luck because we've been getting one every few races. Maybe we can have the first 2 races of the season with safety car incidents. Let's see. Looking for a solid start here from Jensen, which he kind of gets. I mean, he's probably going to be losing a few places. He's getting dangerously close to a few people just there, but looks like he's looking at picking off Drogovic, and he does, up into 4th place. And look how tight it is between everybody just there. Chadwick up into 17th, keeping it well out of the way herself. Button up into 3rd place. And under investigation for causing a collision. No action taken. That's good. So now we have a train of cars behind Jensen Button. Looks like VK and that guy in first are going to start pulling away. Can Button keep this 3rd place up? Can he hold everybody up? And can Chadwick do the same so that when Button comes out the pits eventually, he comes out in a pretty decent position? We have skipped forward to lap 16, started lap 17, where Chadwick has climbed all the way up to 13th. Button's still within the top 10 at the moment with a couple of cars very close to him. Chadwick with a nice train behind, and This is where some of the pit stops are going to start coming in for those on ultras, and this actually puts Chadwick up into the top 10. First time ever. Button's still in 7th at the moment, battle on with Lawson and Tictum, another familiar face there for those who have seen the Haas series. As it stands, Andretti going to be getting a decent amount of points this race, +7. I mean, it does mean that we'll drop down a couple of places in the constructors, but like I said, as long as we keep getting those points, the morale of the drivers will go up, and that will just mean better positions, better sponsors, more money, and the team will only be getting better. 9th place now for Chadwick, on to lap 20. 10 laps later, and the tactic is working an absolute treat at the moment. 2 cars already out crashing. Sargent down the bottom, who's pitted for the 11th time this race. Maybe not exact number, but Chadwick in 7th, Button in 2nd. We're probably going to be looking at trying to get Button in very shortly. We're going to get Chadwick in first. She's held up everybody enough. Get her into the tyres. She's going to be keeping to the harder compound, so that should hopefully do her until the rest of the race. Chadwick came out in 15th place, already climbing up to 12th. She's doing absolutely amazingly on this track, and we think about bringing Jensen into the pits for some ultra softs. We're going to have him probably try and lay off the tyres as much as possible when he comes out, and then suddenly this happened. A safety car, just as Button was about to go into the pit site, could not have timed that any better. Chadwick we're going to be keeping out anyway. She might be able to grab 1 or 2 places, but Button, this is the perfect time for him to be going into the pits right now. While all the cars have slowed down because of the safety car, he's less likely to lose as many positions as he was in the first place. No problems with the pit stop either, and Jensen Button actually comes out in 4th place. Colton Herta in the pits as well, coming out into 5th, got a back marker behind. Chadwick going to be 10th place when the restart happens, and for once a safety car I think it could be going our way. So safety car about to go in. We've warmed up the tyres, same tactic as before. Jensen Button in 4th place, Chadwick in 10th. We set both of them onto pedal to the metal, and look at that, Button straight away getting himself back up into 3rd place. He's got a 2nd in front of him, VK, with a little bit of damage. Chadwick sort of battling for that 10th and 9th place. Need to make sure that no accidents end up happening just there, but Button and Herta behind him on the softer compound. We're going to set Button up to be a little bit easier on those tyres. We did get free laps because of the safety car, but we still want to be trying to keep those tyres in as good condition as possible. Chadwick in an absolute... Oh, someone just went off there, but it wasn't a crash. Chadwick going off, and... No, it wasn't Chadwick going off. Chadwick's in the middle of a group of cars at the moment, so her position could be going up and down over the next 2-3 laps. But Button, meanwhile, trying his best to try and keep Colton Herta at bay. Herta is in the quicker car, I should imagine. He is a slightly quicker driver. There's 2 cars just there with mechanical issues. They're going to be going into the pits. Chadwick up into 9th place, and Button trying his very best to defend from Colton Herta, but Herta is up to the side and somebody else has crashed, but no, there is a safety car. Herta manages to get the pass in right before the safety car. Another safety car. Oh, we could be in for some drama towards the end, so we're going to keep both drivers out. 1 or 2 people have thrown themselves into the pits, but everybody who's towards the top keeping themselves nice and safe, and now we have another 3 laps. It's going to be around 5 laps left, so it's going to be a hell of a sprint for the line. Need to save up that fuel as much as possible, get the engines burning, and I have a good feeling about this with Button. For Chadwick though, this could be a real battle for her, a real battle. Same tactics as before, warming up those tyres at the last moment. As you can see from the tyre icons, perfect amount of heat in there. Going to be pushing, trying to get Button past Herta, but I have a feeling that Herta's going to be well away by now. Meanwhile, Chadwick It's going to be a hard battle for Chadwick. Parts of the car deteriorating quick. This could be a very tense last lap. So we see Chadwick getting absolutely swarmed by everybody else. Just don't think this is going to end well for her at all. Dropping out the points. Lap 50. With 2 laps to go, it looks like Button's going to be getting that 4th place, but we're going to be watching Chadwick at the moment, who amongst all these cars dropping down to 13th. But with some absolutely incredible passes like that one just said, gets herself up to 10th place. What a pass! And at this point I was just like, just push, get away from 11th, and before we knew it she was catching up to Vesti in 9th place. All over him like a rash. An overtake on the outside as well, meaning Chadwick finishes in 9th place and in the points. A 4th and 9th place finish for Andretti. This season has got off to an absolute flyer. What a start for Andretti. Even with that drive-through penalty, Jenson Button getting himself a cool 12 points. 2 points on the board for Jamie Chadwick as well. That'll do wonders for both confidence, and like I said before, as long as they keep getting points positions or decent finishes, marketability is going to go up, the team's going to be more self-sustaining, we can afford the higher wages, the better parts, and this is just the beginning, I feel, for Andretti Autosport. The only way is up. With higher positions though, does mean higher bonuses, but still in the green for income after races, so I'm not going to be moaning too much about that. I invite you to join us on our next episode when that is released, as we head off to Singapore for the first of 2 races next episode. If you look at the top of the screen, next race in 4 days, it's raining. I cannot wait. But with both drivers' suspension upgraded, we are rolling on to Singapore with 2 new front wings on the way as well. These won't be built until after the next race. We're aiming to not be the worst car on the grid this time. As you can see, our sponsors are pretty low on the team stats. Headquarters, they will always be low. It's very unlikely until we're in Formula 1 at the very least that we will actually get that upgraded. Our staff are amazing. Our drivers have gone above and beyond. Pit crew are awesome as always, less mistakes already, which is something we did suffer with last season. The car is still below average, but to be honest, we're getting points out of it. We know how to upgrade our car to make that rating a little bit higher. We're getting better. Thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't already, like the video. Make sure you throw a subscription onto this channel as well. Check out the rest of the videos as well. We don't just do Motorsport Manager, we are going to be doing F1 Manager 2022 when that comes out, where we'll be taking control on YouTube. It will be AlphaTauri. On Twitch it will be McLaren. I'm so excited to try that game out, and yeah, it's what a start of season 2. I could not be happier with that. Can we keep this form going? You'll have to check next episode to find out. Thank you once again for watching. Check out the links underneath the video, and I will see you all next time. Look after yourselves, but more importantly, look after each other. Take care.